Don't you love it when things are both easier and more affordable? Like when the rain washes your car for you. Or like when you save up to 10% by bundling your renters and auto insurance with USAA. Bundle with USAA and start saving. Get a quote today.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Coach Bill and I over at Coaching Youth Hoops are giving away a free clinic this fall at some point. And you can find that at coachingyouthhoops.com/clinic. And I'll put that down in the show notes. And then we're also kind of starting this dynamic app that's, I think, is going to be very helpful for youth coaches at coachingyouthhoops.com/waitlist. So go over and check that out. And let's head off the podcast.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to the Coaching Youth Hoops Podcast.
They're playing basketball.
Here's our hosts, Steve Collins, and Bill Flitter.
So just more stuff like that where we're incorporating, a little bit of pressure or competition too, right? I always like to start it off with a little bit of competition. We did this drill yesterday where you can imagine you have two girls at the elbow. One of the two has a ball. Another girl directly under, and I can send this to you, another girl right underneath the basket with a ball. Okay, so to start the drill, what happens is the girl's at the elbow, player with the ball throws to her teammate, that starts it all. They run down opposite court, okay, and they have to shoot a shot at the elbow before the player who's behind them, right underneath the basket, shoots a layup. So does that make sense? Kind of visualizing that a little bit. So that puts pressure on the shooter. Puts pressure on the person making the layup, and two people are shooting, and one is rebounding for her. The extra person is rebounding for the shooter. And then on the way back, let's say the girl makes a layup first, but the person doing the jump shot is still trying to get the jump shot in. If the girl with the who made the layup, she grabs her ball, heads back the other way, that triggers the jump shot girl to come back as well the other way and hit a jump shot at the other basket, coming back to where she started from. So, so that just fast-paced game where they're competing against one another with some pressure. And I did this at all levels, 3rd through 8th. And they had fun with it, so give you a sense of that. And then I do the breakdown drills of the blitz, and then last night, our big thing yesterday was our press and our press break. So we broke those drills all down, doing that kind of stuff. But with the blitz, that's where I would start if I was you, and that's all I teach as well. The other stuff, you can get into it, as they progress, the basic reads, the drills. You can see the drills here. How do you play against the zone? If you wanted to implement some quick hitters and need a quick basket at a timeout, and then I show you the inbounds plays and how that goes right into the blitz, the fast break, etc., shooting drills,
like the banana blitz.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Small-sided games, just some ideas to practice the offense live. The other thing I don't know, maybe you already do this, but like for example, if I told you about this 3-on-3, or you could do this. It was basically 3-on-0. You could do this 3-on-3 as well. This drill where you're just and you can then have the defense score as well. The defense gets points if they get a stop, right? So they get points as well. Or you could just say, okay, you have to score. You're playing 3-on-3, quarter court. You have to score off of X, or you have to score off of a layup. You have to score off of hitting the roller to the basket. You have to, score off. In your case, you wouldn't do this, but the person who's down screening opens up towards the ball, and 5 in this case throws to 3, right? So, then you start setting all of those parameters up, what you want to work on and what you want to focus on, and they're playing, right? They're competing. And then the defense, you could have 3 versus 2. Where I don't put anybody on 5, but I put somebody on 4 and I put somebody on 3. So it's 3 versus 2, right? And just to change it up a little bit. Or yesterday we worked a little bit on I just, hey, be ghost defense, just to be there, feel the presence, but not, and then we just ramp that up throughout practice.
Yeah.
The intensity gets ramped up. But yeah, that's the basics of the offense. Pretty, like I said, layer 1, down screen, ball handoff, be patient on the weak side, and you'd be surprised how much opportunity you create. And it might be, do you run into a lot of zone? Can you do zone in your league?
We can. Fortunately, press is not allowed. Most of the tournaments we play in, press is not allowed. So I'm thrilled about that at this level.
At that age,
but zone is allowed. So we
2-3. What do you usually run into?
Usually 2-3, sometimes a 1-3-1.
Okay. Well, let me show you this. I think it's worth noting.
Yeah, how does that work? That was actually going through my head earlier, so I'm glad you came back to that. So
again, you start in the same alignment, right? 5 out. Here's your 2-3. Okay. This is the beautiful thing about it. It works in both situations. So, and especially at the youth level, because they get a little lazy in the zone, and you actually will get layups off of this. So what we look for here is, again, you do your ball handoff, 1, 2 are following. What happens? Now, I'm going to pause it here. You may not get a score right away off of this. You're not going to create a triple gap right away. But what happens, traditional way of teaching, well, how do you beat a zone? Overload one side, fast passes, penetrate the gap, skip passes, etc. Well, by doing the ball handoffs, what ends up happening is these players are constantly moving back and forth, exactly what you want to do. But you don't have to have a different offense. You don't have to worry about a skip pass, a rainbow pass getting picked off, because you're literally, usually at the youth level, the X1 and X2 aren't attacking the ball. At the older grades, they will. They'll try to trap, which is fine. It actually creates better opportunities. But when this gets moving side to side, you'll end up seeing gaps like this that you can penetrate. Now, here's the beautiful thing that we work on, even at the younger level. This is actually good. So you saw the movements happening. So in this case, 5 just is going to get the ball handoff. Okay. Remember, I talked about patience. 1 was in their down screen. What they do is they basically seal X3. Now, the simplest version of this is 5 dribbles over, passes to 1 who's sealing X3. They have a layup or an outside shot.
Okay.
And that's the basic, level. Now, you can get a little bit more sophisticated, which this does show. You have 1 seals, 4 comes and gets the ball, 3 loops through on the weak side because X5 is pulled over to get 4. You're going to have a layup that way as well. Okay, but you don't have to. I don't think we even ran this more than a dozen times where you're seeing this action here. What we're seeing big time against the 2-3 zone is one being wide open and sealing and getting into, as they get a little bit older, they learn how to seal out one to create this angle right here, right? A different angle. But even at the younger guys, they come and sit down screen. And I said, just sit there and wait for the ball to come to you on the weak side, because again, especially, I gotta be careful with my language here, but especially with girls, they do exactly what you want them to do on the court. They'll say, okay, where am I supposed to stand in the zone? Oh, you're supposed to stand outside the block. Well, that's where there's stand. They don't move from there, right? So in this particular situation, X3 is literally a statue standing there because that's what she's supposed to do. That's what the coach said, right? So one can create a seal and get that high-low pass in right there. So that happens.
That concept of sealing or kind of posting up out there in that short corner.
Yeah, exactly. You're just posting up in the short corner, right? And then if they happen to get for the ball and they again penetrate the gap, and then you get a little bit more, you'd have to see how your players react to that, but it's as simple as that. And that's what I teach. We do that against a 2-3, a 1-3-1. We did it against a 1-2-2. And really what it comes down to is this ball movement, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, the ball handoffs and loosening it up. It works beautifully because you're not doing the skip passes, you're not overloading one side with some sort of other pattern than your own regular offense, right? So you don't have to do two offenses, you have to teach them one. So anyway, that's
passes, push-up passes on our team, because if you throw a rainbow pass, you end up having to do push-ups.
Okay. I like that.
Oh geez, that was a loud motorcycle went by. Sorry about that.
No worries.
It's like push-up pass, and they had to drop and do 2 or 3 push-ups right then and there.
So this is you might run into this. This is why I drew this up, because we started seeing this, and this is more of the older 2 and 3. Sorry, X1 and X2, they would start pushing out the 1 so we couldn't get around the corner. Okay. So it's quickly solved by 3 setting their down screen, and 5, right? What is 5 supposed to do? 5 is supposed to come up anyway and get the ball on a ball handoff. So they just came up and sat in this huge triple gap right here. Right. And then,
it's a big opportunity right there.
Yeah, so we just threw it over the top. You can see here to 5. Sometimes we would do that ball handoff high to get the ball to 5, or we would just throw it back to 5. Then 1 rolls. I mean, there's so many opportunities off of that. After you distort that zone, you end up having a big gap, or you have some of these players that are sitting here down low open as well. Because what if 5 gets the ball, what do they know? They're going to drive or shoot. It's going to pull X5, which then you have 2 and 3 sealing in that same manner.
Okay. How strict are you with position assignments? So do you say, okay, Susie, you're the 1, Sally, you're the 2, so on? I mean, the 1, you've got to assign a point guard. But beyond that, do you just fill spaces, kind of first goes down?
Fill spaces, yeah.
Okay.
I don't worry about that too much. And the reason is, it's like, I don't know how they're going to develop, right? And as you know, okay, I got this nice laid out plan, 1 through 5, and 1's going to be this, and 2's going to be that, and 3's going to be that. And like, oh, sorry, I can't make it to the game. I'm like, right? Oh, you're my 5. Who am I? And then substitutions, and it just became more of a hassle at the youth level. And I'm like, you know what? I don't really care about positions. You're all going to learn it, and you all have to learn it. You all should learn it. Do I prefer my better ball handler bringing up the ball in 3rd and 4th grade? 100%. I gently talk about that because I don't want, coach thinks I can't bring up the ball, or better yet, what it would be, I'm not a ball handler, so I'm just going to be this person that sits down here in the corner.
Sure.
Well, it's not necessarily true. But I want my ball handler to bring the ball, especially if there's pressure.
So with that setup, who would be your preferred inbounder?
Usually what I do with my I look for the biggest, the smartest basketball player, inbounder.
Right.
So if that makes sense, right? She's got to have some basketball IQ.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because she's got to know when to get rid of the ball, who to get rid of it to, right?
Yeah.
So, I have a particular girl on my 8th grade team who she just now naturally does it because she's really good at it. Mm-hmm. She gravitates to it. And I don't say no because, she's really good at it. And she can handle the ball. She happens to be one of the best players on the team. She's tall, athletic. Now, does it mean if she's not in the game, what do I do then? They kind of get, some of them will never want to take the ball out. Too much pressure. That's fine. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? I really tried to limit the assignments. Mm-hmm. I don't want to pigeonhole someone. I have girls. I had an 8th grade girl who played for one of the another competitive league, and this made me sad. She comes up to me and she says, "Oh, my coach would never let me do that before." Mm-hmm. You know what she was trying to do? Shoot.
Oh wow!
I'm like, "You're kidding?" And so I asked her mom, and she goes, "No, she was not. She was encouraged not to shoot." I'm like, "You're playing basketball, aren't we?" Like,
kind of part of the game.
What are you talking about? Like, but they were a competitive team, and she had a role on that team, and this was 6th and 7th grade, and I'm like, oh, all right. That's why I'm just like, I'm not going to do that, and I don't want to do that. And if I lose every game because I don't make assignments, but they all become basketball players, amen. That's my job. Yeah, my job isn't to get the wins in the record book. My job is to make them better people and better players. So if I can do that, perfect.
100%.
So far, so good.
That's good stuff. That's a blessing.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, that's the gist. All and emphasize just the basics at that level, going back up to the how. Create those triple gaps, get the down screen, do the ball handoff, and just be patient. If you can do that, you teach them a lot. And again, no matter what they're going to do, they're going to have to learn patience. They're going to have to learn how to screen, right? Mm-hmm. And ideally, we want triple gaps. So it doesn't happen all the time. Girls know that it doesn't happen. Sometimes we get a double gap. Sometimes we get a one-on-one situation. Sometimes we won't get anything. Sometimes they have a great wall to the ball, and then we'll take an outside shot. It's not ideal, but they're kids, and that's what's going to happen. They don't, you only have so much patience, right, Coach?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or their parents are yelling in the stands, shoot.
Oh, right? Man. Yeah. Fortunately, at the moment, knock on wood, we've got a pretty good group of parents, and
that's good. Yes, so do I.
We've had moments where, every time the kid does something, the eyes immediately go over to the dad or the mom, and
sure,
they could care less what the coach is saying. They're more focused on, is the dad upset, frustrated? Yeah. Did I do this right, Dad? And that's a whole nother discussion. But well, this is great stuff. I mean, I would love to be able to repay for this offense so I can get back into it, spend some more time in it. I really appreciate just your integrity, being willing to refund and do this this amazing Zoom session. But I would love to spend some more time with it. It definitely makes more sense now.
Okay, good.
And I think there's some real potential there.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that I've discovered over the my 20 years of coaching that I'm super excited about. Just because, again, everyone is involved. It works at every level, and you can make it as sophisticated as needed, right? Yep. And it grows with you, so you can stick with one offense, and as they get better and their IQ improves, you can add another layer. And but the beautiful thing, like now, my 8th grade team has been doing this for a year. We just introduced. Let me show you this real quick. I obviously wouldn't do it at your level, but I just introduced. Let's see, covering up the search on here. No, it's called a grenade. I don't know why it's called a grenade, but that's what it's called. Oops. I can't see it. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So it's a grenade. So it's the thing that I love is now we can start doing these little things. So what happens when the ball goes in the post? I can't score. Well, the post just dribbles out. We do a ball handoff. Then you can see we have a roll opportunity, or she can attack the basket. Right? It's just little things like that, right? Okay. That now, when that situation comes up, now I know what to do. We worked on it yesterday. It's like, 4 or 1 reads it and says grenade, right? And then they know what to do. They come together, they do the ball handoff and go. Or I'll call it out of a timeout. Hey, get the ball to the post. How do we get, and then the question was, well, how do you get the girl in the post? I'm like, well, who's ever here or whoever sets that down screen, just go right into the post right after it and we'll get you the ball. Right. I mean, it's just like some simple things that, or, remember I was showing you back on the offense, like we have a lot of opportunities. Sorry to keep you got me going now, Coach.
No, this is good stuff. I like it.
This girl right here, the 2 is setting the down screen. So she might just drift over to the post waiting for the 1 to come around. Right. And we just, and then we can just throw it into the post or against a zone, right? We also might run, we might try that against a 1-3-1 zone. So just different opportunities we're looking at to make it really hard to guard. And you don't know what to expect.
Yeah. No. It's helpful.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you, Coach. Appreciate your time. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. You can just go to the Blitz Attack Offense. .com to go order it again, and I will share my practice plan with you as well. It's been a work in progress because I've been fine-tuning some things, and I'll keep on fine-tuning over the summer. This because I want more of the constraint-based practices where I'm putting the kids in more of that situation where the more game-like situations with constraints, so I can adjust those constraints by age, by individual, whatever they need to work on and whatever we want to emphasize. So,
and I would love to see that. I would appreciate that. I've got a working Google Doc that I keep creating plans, and it seems like some weeks I'm like, oh man, I'm full of ideas. I got all this, and other weeks I'm like, all right, what are we going to do? It's just a grind to figure out what to do and what to work on. But having some kind of a roadmap would be highly beneficial.
Awesome. All right, Coach. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Coach. Really appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Yeah, no worries. And don't hesitate to reach out. Yeah, anytime you have questions. Okay.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. Yeah. Have a good rest of the day.
All right, you too, Coach.
Right, take care. Thanks again.
Take care. You bet. Bye-bye. Awesome.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains May 2nd through the 12th. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.